Whoa, Frosty, come back. We're live with the Pitch Nerds, the weekly show where two nerds bring you the latest in nerdy news, reviews, and occasionally pitch things. I am Cap, and joining me today is always best friend, fellow nerd, and I don't know, Malibu's most wanted, Mr. Frosty. Mr. Frosty,
Everybody.
how are you doing on this fine morning?
Um, yeah.
Everything hurts. Yes. Um.
I'm here.
Yeah.
There's been way worse mornings,
I mean, that's good, I guess.
I always have fun doing the show, so that's it's always something to look forward to.
Yes.
Um,
So what do we have today? We have we're giving a review on Unicorn Warrior Eternal. Oh, such a good
what
show.
about Unicorn was a fun game.
Yeah, I was really good at that game. God, I don't know what it was, but I was like top 3% in the world with my
Yeah,
score.
you've crossed a couple of those. I'm impressed by because you're not that much of a gamer, but you do have skills. It's not even like well, you do in Unicorn, but like Minecraft. I was looking at the top ranked players, and I mean, you were not like I mean, right? So many people play Minecraft that like you were up there though, like pretty close to the top on miles walked.
Damn, I did not know that.
Yeah, I found that very amusing. And the thing is, like, it. Here's the thing, like, I used to live with Cap, and I remember I got up one morning, and then I was like, well, see you later, man. And then I went to work, and as I left, he was playing Minecraft, and then I came home, and he was still playing Minecraft. Now this is at a time when I worked crazy hours. It was like a 16-hour shift. And then he was like, "You probably think I didn't do anything all day." And I was like, "I know you didn't." And he's like, "Oh yeah, how did you know that?" And I said, "Turn your Minecraft character left." And he had this massive bridge that was like the most intricate thing I've ever seen. And I call this Exhibit A.
uh, I miss Minecraft. I don't know.
I started playing it again. My farm is rather horrifying. I have a device that I built where all I do is I go down there, throw a bunch of food out, and all my animals eat up the food, and then they mate, and then more are produced, and then I just do that every once in a while, and all of a sudden I've got more animals than I can spawn, and then when I go, boop, and then the freaking thing out goes, and then water pours in, and then they all go no, and then they all fall down into this thing where it burns them, and then like their items drop. There's a mine cart going around underneath, collects it all, and then that deposits it into another Minecraft, which deposits it to my house. And then I go and I'm like, yep. And then what's neat is the original breeding pairs. They don't get sucked down; they get put away, and then they come back out, and then the whole thing resets, and it's so cool. But then this is the one where I was like, this is kind of horrifying.
Well, so much has changed in the game now too. There's
but it's still the same game. It's just bigger. So like
right.
you get to those things later. I'm still because I'm more interested in the pregame. I'm mostly doing my farm, and then I'm using the resources to sell to a nearby village. But here's where my town gets really dark. I stole some of their farmer villagers. I put them in a cage, and then you can make the villagers mate. And so then I waited until I got a bunch of village farmers in there, and then I built these little like huts that are like in the ground, and you shove a villager, a farmer in each one. During the daytime cycle of the game, a little switch flips down, and then he can come out of this little tiny house I made him, and he automatically farms the land for me.
Nice.
And then when nighttime comes, they run inside the house. That flips a switch, and a block goes up, so he's stuck in there. So he can't steal my stuff.
Nice.
And I wait for the land to grow. And then when I'm ready, I flip a switch. and it all the water fills in, and it takes all the like the
It
wheat
takes
and
all the
then
stuff in it.
deposits it.
Right.
Yeah, and then again, minecart takes it to my house.
Right.
Anyway, so I made several of these, and I went, I'm a slaver. Like I got them locked in a cage, and now they're all farming on my land and stuff like that.
So with me, I was the paranoid type because I would hide all my treasures. So my house is just riddled with traps everywhere, and I had several. I had the master switch.
What were you hiding from though? Like he built it to thwart other players. I like, and me and one of his other friends were just like, I'm not going anywhere near that house. Like,
What? It was my deterrent against creepers. Because every once in a while shit would come into the house and you just flip a lever and all of a sudden it's just complete lockdown mode, and then there'd be turrets that would come up that I had rigged up to a rail car on a switch that would just constantly fire. So I created auto turrets. It was great. Um,
my favorite thing on that world is they built that underground staircase that came out of nowhere. That was actually a pretty big engineering feat because you had to get all the timing just right, and it was seamless. There was like no buttons, no nothing, you know. Yeah, Minecraft is a good game. You know what I just picked up is do I have the game box with me right here? No. But anyway, I just picked up the new Zelda game,
oh,
Tears of Hyrule.
yeah.
Everybody's saying it's the best game there is. And Breath of the Wild, I pretty much agree. That was the best game I ever played. Like that and like Doom 2016. Like, and then I guess Elden Ring since. But like Zelda Breath of the Wild was amazing. This is that almost exactly. But
With
they give you
dungeons? Are there dungeons?
I'm still very early game.
All right.
But the big thing they give you is you get a magic arm, and your arm allows you to stick shit to other shit.
Oh.
And so you can make machines and gadgets and anything you can imagine, pretty much.
Right.
With this ability, because you go up to a tree, chop it down, then you grab a log, stick it to another log, and then you grab another log, and you're like, "Ooh, I made a raft."
Right.
And then like you grab like a fan, and then you stick the fan on it, and then it's like, and then you're like, "Oh, I got across the water."
Right.
But then you're like, "What if I take 4 fans, put them on a thing, and then I put a fan in front of me, and then now I go, ha ha," and then the thing's like, I start taking off, but it's not like weighted correctly, so it's like, blah, blah, blah,
Right,
and then I go flying off. And, yeah, and I was just like, I didn't care. I was like, that was awesome, you know. And yeah, so it's a lot of solving puzzles that way. The other thing you can do is you can take a weapon you're holding and you can stick shit to the end of it. And then like anything, basically, it allows you to do stupid things like, I'm gonna put a sword on the end of my sword, and then you've got a double sword. And then, wow. Yeah, it's weird. There's more powers in that, and I haven't unlocked them, but that's the very thrust of at least this early part of the game. It's like, you need to get over here somehow.
Right.
Do it however you want, and you can build shit to help you do it.
That's weirdly open world.
Oh, it's very like Breath of the Wild was already very open world.
Right.
This is even like they
but
just.
This is taking the Zelda formula of there's a thing over there you have to get to. Here's the one way to do it, and they're giving you options on how to get there.
Yeah, Breath of the Wild kind of did that. I mean, what made Breath of the Wild magical is like, I remember, because the world is just stupid huge.
Right.
And I'm riding along on my horse all across this bridge, and then this massive dragon comes out of the fucking like clouds next to me, and I'm just like, and the thing is, you can fight that dragon. I just have no idea how to do it right now, you know. And like, the game has always been interesting, and then like, yeah, light stuff on fire, thing fly up, you know, all that stuff. It's just now you can do it even more ways, which is super interesting.
Nice.
And like, I think, I don't know for sure, but I recall someone posting something on Twitter like they made like a mech. I was like,
yeah, I've heard of the mechs.
And I'm just like, I'm interested to know if that's possible. I mean, the most complicated thing like I said, I made was that shitty little plane that just like, but
So
it
I
was still fun.
so I saw people make TIE fighters. Of course, somebody immediately had to do Star Wars. So I saw several Star
But are they
Wars.
functional? Because you could make a something
Yeah,
look
so
in that.
it was a squadron of X-wings in formation. It was funny, and then they had a couple TIE fighters come up. It was interesting looking. I mean,
Yeah.
there's like a lever that he was sort of controlling with it. It was just bizarre looking, and I didn't know the
Yeah, I've only
mechanic.
just started getting into machines. The only two ones I found so far is a fan and then a flamethrower.
Ooh,
So yeah, it's weird. There's so much though, and the one problem I have with this game is, I mean, you're spending most of your time doing that,
mm.
and I don't know if you've played Switch much, but the controls are backwards to Xbox and PlayStation.
Oh
Like
really?
the A and B is flipped, and the X and the Y, and they're like press A, and I have to like stop and look,
Oh yeah, yeah,
because my muscle memory is so geared towards PlayStation and Xbox.
right.
And then that and the controls are tiny, so I feel like I'm gonna break it. I
Hmm.
need to buy one of those like regular controllers.
The turbo controller.
It will just
Yes.
like they sell full size controllers, but like the what you get when you buy a Switch is you can either play it like this, or you can
Yes.
have it on your TV, and you can pull out the little ones, and
Yeah. Then you can snap them together into the little
they
thing.
snap into this thing.
But
But
Nintendo, bring back the turbo controller. Remember the block that
it's
was this big with the joystick and the two buttons? Bring that back, Nintendo.
but this is so teeny, and like it's like I'm like I feel like I'm gonna break the thing.
Yeah.
But anyway, so that's a big video game tangent. If you guys are playing Minecraft, show us something cool in your world. If you're playing Zelda, show us something cool you made,
Hmm.
or vice versa. I don't give a shit.
Right.
Um. Anyway, on to nerdy news. Uh. So across the Spider Verse, lots of news on this film.
Hmm.
It's earned the second biggest domestic opening weekend of 2023. It
Nice.
had the highest opening day of 2023. It earns 120.5 million
Oof.
in the film's domestic opening weekend. It has a 95% on Rotten Tomatoes. It's the fourth highest rated film on Letterboxd. It's the highest rated superhero film on IMDb. This
Wow.
movie just crushed everything. I really want to see it. I haven't seen it. Everybody's saying this is the best Spider-Man movie ever.
I honestly I forgot it came out this week. This is my bartender hell week with graduations and all the everything coming into my work. So it's been busy. But I completely forgot this movie came out.
I think it's a good slap in the face to those people who are like, "Oh, superhero fatigue." You know, it's
Yeah,
like,
just
yeah, okay.
yeah,
There's all these movies still crush the box office. Like,
right.
you're gonna have to dethrone them before, like, yeah. And then something like this comes out, and it
Just
just
waves its dick.
destroys.
Good for
Yeah,
it.
I really want to see it. It sounds cool. Apparently there's a reference in it to like one of the characters goes like, "Don't even get me started on Doctor Strange and that nerd in Earth. What is it?
1999. Yeah,
19,999."
yeah,
And like, I'm like, wait.
yeah. Wait a minute.
So, but they said they were
It was
616, and they
616.
got rid of that monitor. Like, this makes no sense. Stop doing this to me.
They're just trolling you. They're watching
It's
us
just
and they're
like,
trolling you.
like does not compute.
Right.
Like,
That's
but yeah, it's awesome. I love the last one, and it's cool seeing a superhero movie just destroy.
destroy everything.
And yeah, and yeah, I want to go see it. I also really want to go see it because I'm sick of my Twitter feed telling me that Miles Morales isn't Spider-Man. It's like, he's
But
fucking Spider-Man.
he's Spider-Man is mantle.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Just calm your tits, and enjoy it, man. You guys all claim to be comic book nerds. Like, we rule right now. Like, enjoy it.
Right. We've taken over,
Um,
damn it.
yeah. Oh, this is kind of interesting. Tony Gilroy reveals that apparently George Lucas told him that he loved Rogue One. And he said he had a 45-minute conversation with him after he saw Rogue. He loved it. He really did. He had a lot of things to say that it was like a call from the president. So that's cool. I mean, Rogue One is definitely one of my...
Of the Disney-made movies, Rogue One is by far the best.
Yeah,
easily. It reframed the rebellion, because you hear about the rebellion. The rebellion are terrorists. Like they were terrorists against the government, albeit political, like tyrannical and shit. But we got to see how the rebellion functioned. Like we got to see that up from the ground level without all the big Jedi's waving their sticks. It was a very ground level Star Wars.
The beginning of the movie, I was a bit like, okay, Star Wars. Huh?
Yeah.
And then when it got to like the last act or whatever, and like there's the AT-AT walkers and like I was like, this is a war movie,
right?
But with Star Wars,
right?
And I was like, this is so fucking cool.
It was so good.
Yeah, and they're like firing like rocket launchers and shit. Like it was so cool.
Right.
So yeah, it's cool that George Lucas enjoyed it though. I think that's awesome.
I think the ending of that movie sucked the air out of the lungs of every Star Wars fan in the theater. Like it was just so good.
But I mean, imagine how cool that is if you're Tony Gilroy and then like Lucas calls you and he just gushes over your movie and like it's George Lucas. Like you know what I mean? Like that would be if he was like, "Hello, pitch nerds. We really liked your pitches." And
like, you know what it is? You know what it is? Rogue One felt like a Star Wars movie in a Star Wars universe. Yeah. It didn't feel like it was being political. It wasn't trying to like. It didn't feel like it was pandering to anybody. It was a war movie. The only thing that I can accuse it of is just being too stupidly nostalgic with the callbacks. Like I get they were trying to set the timing of the movie, and the one when they held the camera on the blue milk, it's like, all right, yes, we get it, it's Star Wars. But when they bumped shoulders with Ponda Baba and Dr. Evanson on that whatever planet, the dudes from the cantina, that was weird. Like, oh, you best watch yourself. We're wanted. Man, yeah, shut up. Yes, okay. I feel like there could have been a better way to establish their timeline in the Star Wars mythos than having to rely on Dr. Evanson and Ponda Baba. It was just weird.
I mean, yeah, I don't know. I didn't notice stuff like I honestly don't remember it that well. Maybe I should rewatch it sometime. But I just remember
I'm the Star Wars guy, damn it.
I remember the third act, and I just remember just being like my jaw dropped.
So good, and it kept getting better, and it kept getting better, and it kept getting better.
So this is so Dan Slott. He's going to return. This is comic book news. Dan Slott. He has written a lot of Spider-Man, She-Hulk. We follow him. I think we're both fans of him in the show. So Dan Slott, he's going to return with a new Spider-Man series. It's Superior Spider-Man again.
Nice.
And that's going to hit in this fall. Did you like Superior Spider-Man?
That was the one with, my goodness, Doc Ock inside.
Yeah, it's where Doc Ock took over his body.
It was interesting. I have a few of the issues. It was interesting seeing that duality where it's Doc Ock trying to pretend to be Peter Parker and Peter Parker body.
Yeah, I gotta find this. Hang on one second.
Actually, I think I might have the issue where Peter Parker dies and Doc Ock puts his consciousness inside Peter Parker. I think I might have that issue.
So yeah, I thought it was a cool comic, cool idea. But you know, Twitter, like Rabble. So this guy, he posts after that was announced, he posts, apparently at Marvel and at Dan Slott didn't learn their lessons last time. This was the final straw that got me to stop participating in both Spider-Man and Marvel. And then what was funny is Dan Slott himself responded and said sales went up over 20K when we introduced Superior Spider-Man and only grew from there. it might have lost you personally, but that title grew the readership in leaps and bounds. And of course, then the guy's like, yeah, and how are sales doing now?
Uh-oh.
The second printing of Spider-Man #7 sold out. The third printing left houses 2 days ago, and all 8 issues have been top 25 sellers in the U.S. market. It's just like it was so funny just to see him just shut this dude down. There was no replies after that except for me going, "This is my favorite thread at the moment."
That's funny. So
anyway, but yeah, I like.
How are they going to bring him back? Because I
don't know.
I don't know.
I have no idea. I couldn't answer.
Clone
I guess I'll
body,
read.
live model.
You know, it's comics. I mean, chill out.
Or
Shut up.
Maybe there's just like a little kernel of Doc Ock left inside of Peter's consciousness, and it'll just.
I
Sort of be
don't
like,
know how it ended, and I don't know how they're going to bring it back. I just know that that's a character they're bringing back.
But why?
I mean, who knows?
Clearly, nobody likes his character. Like, why are they bringing them back?
Well, yeah, apparently a lot of people did.
No,
that is
you are wrong. if it's so good, how good are your sales, huh?
That's the thing. I don't like. Well, I didn't dislike the character. I just didn't like the execution. But for Jane Foster Thor, and I didn't like it because I just like Thor was this like washed up loser through it. And I was just like, what the shit is this?
Right.
But sales on Jane Foster Thor under Aaron did really well. Actually, I mean, Thor is my favorite character. I don't really dig Aaron's writing, although I do think God Butcher was good. He fucking brings the dollar bills, you know. So my favorite writer for Thor is Hickman. But anyway,
people will throw money at it if they like it.
Yeah, and I mean that's fair enough. I mean, like, I don't have to like everything, and if other people really dug it, they do.
Right.
In other news, snow cones are good.
Yes.
I just got a snow cone machine. Let's see. Michael Keaton. This is kind of funny. He says he doesn't think "Well, let's go nuts" was in the original Batman script. He says, I'm almost positive it wasn't the script. That was just him.
Okay.
Which is funny because it's like one of those iconic lines, you know. Like I remember it as a kid, like perfectly.
Just improv. That's perfect. It's like my one favorite line like that, even though it was sort of a blooper, but it was so funny that they decided to keep it, was from The Simpsons when Homer saying, I am so smart, SMRT, I meant SMART. Like, he forgot to spell it correctly. He's like, oh shit.
Oh, that was a blooper. I just thought
that was a blooper. That was so funny that they kept it in. Like,
my favorite, it didn't air, but on no, not Community. God, what is that show called? Parks and Rec. They were like, yeah, like who else has done a comeback? And like everyone was like Britney Spears, and you know they were listening. And then Chris Pratt goes, Kim Kardashian, and they were like, yeah, well, and then he goes, well, she had come on her back in that video, and then like someone hits them, and like,
oh.
Chris Pratt is funny. I'm sorry. People don't like him for stupid reasons, I think, but like he is funny.
Genuinely funny human. He has like golden retriever energy. Like
he does.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a very good way. He is he's Mr. Peanut.
Right,
Peanut
Mr.
butter.
Peanut Butter. That's Joe.
Yeah.
Joe's Mr. Peanut Butter.
So okay, let's see. The script for Flash 2, it's already completed by David Leslie and Johnson McGoldrick from Aquaman.
Yeah.
It would include guest appearances from Michael Keaton's Batman and Calais' new Supergirl. It's interesting. I guess the Flash movies are going to continue in the next.
Yeah, and the James Gunn verse.
Yeah, whatever you want to call it.
So breathe, Snyder fans. There's still a passageway back. It's still there. Guys, chill the fuck out.
No, I really do hope that the Netflix decides to make a continuation of Snyder's movies. That sounds perfectly reasonable and cool to me. I just don't think we should be shitting on what's next coming out, just because it's not that. And also Rebel Moon, that movie sounds cool as shit. I'm gonna totally watch
that. Which one is that?
That's his next movie that's coming out on Netflix. It's like a sci-fi flick.
Oh yeah.
It sounds like a very cool movie. I can't remember the synopsis off the top of my head, but I remember reading.
You mentioned it on the show a while back.
It sounds dope as fuck. So I'm excited for that.
Right.
And I'm also really excited for Cavill doing that Warhammer movie because I think that will be cool.
Right.
Did you ever see? There's a clip going around the internet of Cavill on some kind of nerdy talk show, and like Felicia Day's there, and she goes like, "So what kind of games you guys playing?" And then he's like, "Well, yeah, the obvious one is Warhammer 40K." And then like this guy across the room's like, "Oh yeah, well, what's your army?" And I forget what he says, and he's like, "Oh, I'm playing Necrons." And there's like this hot girl there, and she's just like, "These guys are so nerdy." Like you can just see her energy,
right?
And then
you can see her demeanor change as the more nerd came out.
Yeah, but then he's like, "Oh, Necrons." He's like, "Yeah, well, let's get together." And then it's like all I can think of is like that men. We know how to be friends, because like that's how easy it is.
It's so easy to talk to guys. Like,
but all it requires is like you're into something. Oh, cool! I'm into that too. Yeah. We're best friends now.
Right. It doesn't take much. So, remember in the first Shazam movie when Henry Cavill's Superman allegedly came and had lunch with Billy Baxton at a school? Henry Cavill, if you see this, if you could kindly join us on our show and just help us. We can do a 3-screen. We can get it all figured out. Please join us on our show.
It would be awesome.
Talk nerdy stuff with us. We can keep it strictly professional. We don't even have to talk about your movies. We can just talk about nerdy shit.
Yeah, it's true. We'll talk about whatever you want, dude. Like, but yeah, Henry Cavill is awesome. I love everything about that guy. Anyway, so where are we? So we're talking Flash 2. So in addition to that information, apparently Ezra. This is for Flash 1. For obvious reasons, I think Ezra Miller is going to be doing a no press The Flash tour. They will make a low profile appearance at the world premiere for photo ops only.
Okay.
But I mean,
keep him contained.
Yeah, Ezra Miller problematic for sure.
I just picture somebody like Barney showing up, just in a Flash costume.
Yeah. Here's my argument. Here's my argument. Because a lot of people are like, "How can you watch this movie? How can you support this movie?" And blah 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 blah. I really want to go see it, and it looks cool. The thing is, a movie isn't just one person,
right? And
if you punish everybody that worked on the movie because of that one person, that's kind of not right,
Yeah.
And that's why it's like, yeah, I don't really support Ezra Miller. But I mean, yeah, they're already jumping on a Flash too. It sounds like they're going to be bringing back Ezra Miller. I don't know if I'd do that though. If it were me, I would. I love the idea of getting what's his name, Grant Gustin
from the Flash show. Yeah, I think he's a better Flash. I think.
Yeah, he's decent. I mean, I don't know if any of them fit the Flash in my brain.
Yeah.
The Flash in my brain would be
Wally
best
from Justice League. Like that. That's.
Oh, well, that one, yeah. I was thinking if I was going with the Barry Allen, what's the guy that plays Captain America?
Oh, Chris Evans?
He would make a good Barry Allen in my head.
I can see it.
Well, because he's this kind of huge, ripped, blonde dude, like he looks like Captain America when he's just in regular mode. And then Chris Evans is just goofy enough that, like, like I think he could pull it off. I
can see it.
Anyway, so God, I'm gonna butcher this guy's name as I always do, but
Yeah.
Pearson Fode. I didn't even know who this guy was, but I saw pictures of him after I read this. Dude is a handsome man. I'm just saying, like I was like, damn, that guy is sexy.
Is he?
You know?
Is he Keanu Reeves sexy or Idris Elba sexy?
Dude, Google him yourself. His name is Pearson Fode.
Pearson Fode. All right.
But the E has one of them little things on top of it.
Hoo-hoo. Is it a French?
Yeah. But I'm sure if you just type in Pearson Fode, like Fode. But anyway, he's in the running to play Superman for James Gunn's Superman Legacy.
Oh.
So that might be our Superman.
All right. Let me pull up the Google really quick. Let's see here. P-I-E-R. How do you spell it?
Hang on. I lost it. P-I-E-R-S-O-N and then Fode.
Oh, here you go. Holy crap.
Yeah, right.
He looks like all the Hemsworth and all the Evans
just combined into
one human. There's the mold. Holy smokes!
I knew you'd think the same thing I did because I'm like, I don't know this dude. He's from
that looks like Chris Pine is a Hemsworth.
Yeah,
that's why he. Oh my god! Oh, the vapors.
But yeah. I mean, yeah, I can see it. I can see.
I can totally see that. He's got the hair.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is he a blue-eyed? Oh, I think he's got the blue eyes.
Yeah.
Yeah, he
you looks... know, Chris Pine does have really intense blue eyes. He would play a good Superman just from that point of view.
Yeah, I just don't think I can see him in that role. Maybe just from the eyes, because he's got the, I call him the Mako eyes from Final Fantasy VII. Yeah.
You know what I'm enjoying lately in films is, I guess because my best friend's a girl, is when you have a best friend character and it's a male and female, like duo, but they're not, there's no romance, they're just homies. And because like my best friend is a female and like we're just homies, like you know, like it, like we saw it in Dungeons and Dragons, the movie. The girl from Fast and Furious, you know, I'm talking about. Rodriguez. Yeah, she plays like a barbarian.
Did she die at the very end doing something sacrificial? Because that's what she does in like every movie.
She does die, yeah, but she does come back.
Oh.
The plot, I mean, spoilers. Chris Pine's trying to get a magic item to bring back his dead wife, and but at the end she dies, and she's like a mother to her kid, to his kid, but they're just homies, and like, but he uses his wish to bring back his friend instead. And but that movie, but we also saw it in Shang-Chi.
Yeah.
With what's her name?
I forget.
I'm blanking on her name, but she's funny. I like her.
Rose Tico.
Yeah, and that was great. It was fun. They were just friends, because it's like that's always been a stereotype that's pissed me off. It's like, do you not understand what like friendship is? Like, you know, why do I have to like be trying to get something out of this person? You know? Like, anyway, let's see what else. Oh, The Last of Us apparently got some update on season 2. It's begun filming. It will begin filming as soon as the end of 2023. Though I predict it'll get pushed back because of
the writer's strike.
The writer's strike, unless they've done writing everything. But no, I think they do rewrites on set.
Yeah,
and stuff.
Yeah.
But this is a direct quote from Bella Ramsey. It says, "It's darker. It's really a story about revenge and continuation from the first season about the dangers of unconditional love."
Yeah.
So it sounds like they're kind of following the game.
Yeah. That is code for they're going there. Good for them. I really do hope they go there, because to not do what the game did would rob it of the whole message of the game, which is consequences. That is the whole thing. And usually a lot of survival stuff does have that underlying theme of like consequences and of your actions, but I love it because so many people got pissed off at it. Yeah, I love the hate because it made them feel something that they didn't like feeling. But that's the whole point. You want to feel.
I get mad that like people feel like they own art
right.
and they don't. Like that's what you would do with something. This is what someone else would do with something. You know,
Right.
like I get that you didn't like what they did with it, but that's what happened. You know.
Well, see, I'm going to
Uh,
be curious to see what people do with quantum with the little goobers that I'm releasing into the universe, because that's sort of like the exercise is to see what people would come up with. But anyways,
yeah. Anyway, so I didn't know this, but apparently we're getting another animated Transformers movie. It's going to be led by Chris Hemsworth, which is interesting.
okay.
But unlike the other movies that came before it, this entry serves as a prequel that will explore Optimus Prime's history on the planet of Cybertron.
Yeah, I heard
It's going
about
to be
this. Yeah,
it's
yeah.
going to be directed by Toy Story's writer Josh Cooley
Mm-hmm.
and penned by Ant-Man and Wasp Andrew Barrier. The prequel has a very different feel compared to other entries in the franchise.
So this will be cool. For those who don't know this, Optimus Prime wasn't always Optimus Prime. He was once just a humble. I think he was just like a laborer. He's just a normal dude. His name was Orion Pax, and then, oh my goodness, I believe it was Alpha Trion who gave him the Matrix of Leadership, and that's when he became Optimus Prime. I think that's how the story goes, but I don't know. There's been different versions of it, so I think that's cool as hell. I think that's really cool. But we'll see what Bumblebee brings in the new whatever the Beast Wars movie is
Yeah, I
in a
saw
couple
the
weeks.
more recent trailer and it looked cool. Um, I I don't know. I mean, Transformers has either been to me really cool or like very bleh.
Mm,
Like I don't really like. I think the first Michael Bay movie was good, but after that, it was like watching junkyards. But then again, I've seen cool stuff from it. Like
right.
there's this great clip going around on the internet of this little girl and she's hitting a pinata
Mm-hmm.
and she hits the pinata and it splits and then all the kids come running in. She's about to do this big swing with it
Mm-hmm.
and like it's at head height to all these kids and then someone cuts it there and then cuts it to the Transformers scene where like Optimus trying to like Prime is like cutting massive heads off of robots, and he's like, "Rah!" Like, and
Just
then like,
ripping things apart. It was
yeah,
very
and
brutal how they fought. Because normally it was just pew 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 pew. No, they're like
yeah,
ripping off heads and shit. It was just weird.
there's some cool shit, and I hate to. I mean, I don't like them overall, but I have to admit, and I can see why they do well overseas.
Hmm.
Because I've heard that like it's like like our biggest like movie is what's it Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon,
Yeah,
and we're all like, "Oh, this is amazing!" And they're like, "Wait, you think that's amazing? Like, that's their Transformers?"
yeah.
Like,
Right.
and we're all like, "Oh, like,
So going back to Michael Bay, we had mentioned this on the nerd chat, and it's funny because I noticed that each of us had a different answer as to what our favorite guilty pleasure Michael Bay movie is. And mine's Armageddon, and then Adrian chimed in. It's like, The Rock was pretty good, and I think you had another answer. Um,
The Rock was pretty good."
I don't think I've seen The Rock.
No,
That'll
yeah, no, it's a
that'll be
good movie.
that'll be a behold nerd. So.
It's yeah, I recommend seeing it. I don't know. I would probably say Transformers one. There's from like an animation point of view, that movie's actually kind of brilliant.
Yeah,
Um,
I
but
just like the cheesy, the absolute garbage cheese that is Armageddon. I just love the cast. It is a cast in
yeah.
a poorly scripted movie. A great
Have you
cast.
seen? There's one with what's the guy that plays Obi-Wan?
Ewan McGregor. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's The Island. No,
The Island. Did
yeah,
you see that one?
no.
That one is fun just because it goes so hardcore into promotions.
Mm-hmm.
Like he's usually pretty like shameless when it comes to that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But this movie, they go harder than I've ever seen. Like they'll like crack a beer and then I'll set it down, and the camera's like basically just
Just
focused on the beer,
right there.
and it's like the most perfect like
Of course.
beads of like coming
The
down
condensation coming down.
yeah, and the bubble, and it's just like, and you're just like, oh god, I want a Heineken, and
Right.
like, and like,
The
there's
Transformers movie did that with the check out these Beats by Dre, followed by this My Little Pony from Hasbro.
no, dude, you think the Transformers movie did that? Watch this movie. This movie goes harder than I've ever seen ever. Everything is like, and it is shot like a commercial. It's so hardcore. But anyway,
I want to watch it just to see if, because I know my brain will find it. Like my brain just started to absorb everything during the Smallville fight, and
yeah.
And Superman is like, oh, there's a Denny's, there's a
No, but
this.
those were in the background. Like you were like, oh, we're at a Denny's. Okay,
Right.
This like the movie practically stops and it's like,
check out
you
these
know what?
Oakleys.
Yeah, you know what is good is Denny's. I love a good Denny's. You know, like it's like that bad. Anyway, where were we? But anyway, so yeah, that Transformers movie sounds good. I'm interested in seeing it. Are you guys interested in seeing it?
I
that's all I got. You got anything else? Oh, I do actually have. I forgot to write it down. But what's the actress's name? Who's playing the new Supergirl?
Oh,
I can't remember.
I doesn't she have like a weird name? I don't know. I'm bad.
Yeah. But anyway. Yeah. Is it Calais something? Anyway, she reportedly said that Henry Cavill really liked The Flash. So
cool.
Yeah. It's getting a lot of endorsements from people that have already seen it. So I'm excited.
I'm excited to see it. It looks good, guys. But it looks like Ezra Miller is trying to get his shit together. Who knows what he's going through mentally? It sucks. I'm not justifying anything, but let the court run its dues. Let the guy fix himself and just let him pick himself back.
You don't necessarily have to be supporting him. Like I said, you can be supporting other people that work on the movie. It's not just one person.
Right.
Anyway, shall we move on?
I'm not sure if it's official yet, but Quantumania is on Disney Plus right now, and if you pay attention to the verbiage, it does not mention Kang in the description of the movie, and people were using that as sort of like a red flag that oh my goodness,
I immediately skeptical.
Right. But this is nerdy news reviews and rumors.
So. All right. I'll give it to you. People are talking about it.
Yeah. So people are saying, oh, that means that Disney's going to fire him. I like that Disney has shown some reserve on this one because you saw them shot from the hip before with like James Gunn, for example, where they just shot from the hip and they overreacted to a thing that had been dead and buried long ago. So,
not for everybody. If you're on Twitter, that's the main thing the Snyderverse is using against like James Gunn.
Oh, really? Okay. Shut up, God! Even just hearing that, just shut up. So
it's just that's our feed. It's like. So I just see it like all the time.
I don't have the capacity to do it. I just my brain can't.
Dude, I applaud you. But anyway, go on.
Yeah, so that is the big rumor that is Disney's way of trying to separate themselves from whatever the actor's name is, I forget. Apparently we're not going to see King again for like another 3 or 4 movies. Quantumania is just sort of setting him up, and then you have Loki season 2, which is going to have him return as Kang, but nothing after that for at least a good 3 or 4 movies. So they have time to sort of retool things if needed. But
I mean, like, you gotta admit, like, if you're the guy that pitched this, you're like, so we're gonna have King. Right. He's gonna be our main villain, and like, who you got for King? We got this guy, and he's perfect, and like, oh my god, he's terrifying. And then something like that happens, and you're just like driving home one day and listening to the news, and then that comes on. You just be like, no.
Damn it. So I don't know. We'll see. I know that Loki season 2 is going to be his last appearance as Kang. That's shot for now, because again, he's not going to
Mm-hmm.
return for a while. Remember, we didn't see Thanos return for a long while after we saw him at the end of the first
True.
Avengers. So
I know. I still though with Thanos like that line of like to fight them is to court death, and he's like, and I just like, oh god, and I was like, you don't understand. He actually does court death, so it works two ways.
right.
And I was really excited, and then they just never
went through with it. It's all right.
And I was just like, I don't know, it ruined it. And I just think of all the stupid shit I've done for courting the ladies,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm thinking like, yeah, I could see myself destroying half the universe if someone was hot enough,
Right. They
were like, dude, you destroyed half the universe. Yeah, but do you see how hot she is? Oh, I totally understand, bro.
right. I did hear rumor that obviously Deadpool 2 has started shooting. That we are going to see the return of the X-Men universe.
You can't improvise though.
Oh, because of the strike?
Writer's strike. Ryan Reynolds is not allowed to improvise. He's having to read it, the script as the script is written.
Ooh.
Yeah, I know.
Ooh. So they could always reshoot. You know what you do? You don't shoot the scenes with Ryan Reynolds. You shoot the other scene. You put that to the back burner. See, or I just picture when they're editing together the Radioactive Man movie. We're going to get out of this, Fallout Boy, Jiminy Chillikers. God, that's terrible. But I heard that we might see.
Apparently, what's funny is that kind of happened with Ryan Reynolds. So, and when they were making Blade 3, what's the guy who plays Blade again? Wesley Snipes.
Right.
Apparently, he like lost his marbles. And would just hang out in his trailer and would send notes to the director with they would be like requesting stuff, and it would be signed as Blade. And he stayed in character, and just tons of pot smoke was coming out, and he refused to do anything. And
he was Blade.
Yeah, they had to edit around Wesley Snipes because he wasn't doing anything. So a lot of the movie they would just take a shot of Wesley Snipes and then do like an Fallout Boy thing, and they would just cut to Ryan Reynolds making a silly face and saying something silly.
Right.
And that was how they cobbled that movie together.
That's great.
It is the worst Blade by far. I don't know if you've seen this monstrosity.
That's the third one, right?
Yeah.
I know.
I watched this movie, and then I was like, wait, what actually happened? I don't remember. I couldn't tell you the plot if I tried. My brain just was like through the whole thing. Apparently it's something about Dracula. I don't know. And then I tried to rewatch it again because I was like, wait, no, I've seen this movie. What the hell happened?
It's just a Bosco and Honey cartoon in your head, just doing the rubber arms.
But I watched it a second time, and then especially with that context of Wesley Snipes not being there, and just watch it. It's just Ryan Reynolds going,
Chillikers.
Yeah.
So
and you could see the camera edit because it's just hard on him. Blade's not there,
just shot in a storeroom.
But yeah, they cobbled together the movie. What's his name? God, Patton Oswalt's talked about. He was like, "Oh, someone was like, you were in Blade," and he's like, "I wish I was in Blade." And then he was like, "No, I did Blade 3," and he recants working on this movie. It's so funny.
That's terrible. But anyways, we are rumored to maybe see the X-Men's version of Scarlet Witch in Deadpool 2.
Oh, that's cool.
So, I don't know. We shall see. But, I think that's all the nerdy freaking rumor crap that I have.
All right. What do you want to jump into?
We should do our pitches.
You want to do the pitches?
Yeah, let's jump into pitches. Pitch nerds. Let's do it.
All right. So, Yeah, why we started the show. We are the Pitch Nerds. We pitch movie ideas. This week we're doing Superman.
Yes.
Ooh, I am not even fully done, and I've had extra time, but I have what I want my movie to be. I just don't have the shot for shot
Yeah,
down.
yeah. I'm not going to do a shot for shot.
But oh no, but I do have a cool opening. Do you mind if I go
No,
first?
you go first. You go first.
All right.
So we're doing Superman. Yes.
We are doing Superman. Again, I found this one very hard because Superman is a character that doesn't have a lot of room for growth because he's kind of already perfect. I had the same struggle with Batman.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, I wrote a cool opening scene that kind of gives you the shape of what I want the movie to feel like.
Mm-hmm.
So we see like scientists, and they're working in a lab. They're discussing things like metal, connections to like dark force and things like that, and like theoretical machinery and things like that. And if you might recognize some of this stuff because it alludes to character I'm about to talk about. Anyway, after a few minutes, we see of like, that's like the intro of the movie. Like, we get in the credits and they're like, like, oh, metal, blah, 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 blah. And it's like, written by Frosty,
Right.
Anyway, we see a nervous looking scientist guy, and like he like opens the door, and like they're like, what are you doing? This is a clean room, and blah blah blah. And there's like a dude in like a stretcher, and that's what the scientists have been working on while they're discussing metals and shit. And he walks over, and he's apologizing. They're yelling at him. He's like, I couldn't, he's gonna hurt my family, blah, 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 blah. And then he stabs this like black goo into the IV, and he's like, I'm sorry. And then all of a sudden his head is grabbed, and then the sound is muted, and then we cut to like a scene of like Luther sitting in a limo talking to Mercy, and she's like, why did you even bother paying off that family? He would have no one would have noticed anyway. And he's like, my dear Mercy, it always pays to keep the Boy Scout occupied when I need to take a field trip.
I love Mercy. She's one of my like favorite Superman characters.
Yeah, I like her too.
She's great.
So we have this dual shot again because we saw the guy's head get grabbed. So Luther's talking about like, oh, it always